has dismissed classified documents, the documents case against President Trump.
Right.
Shouldn't have even been there in the first place.
Correct, absolutely. And it seems by the minute things are changing in favor for President Trump and what has been happening for him the last few months, whether it's these ridiculous criminal prosecutions, ridiculous civil cases. Clearly these district attorneys were colluding with the Biden administration. And now to have someone actually try to take President Trump's life, it's so important that the rhetoric does get toned down. And sometimes I feel that those on the left, particularly in office, folks like Congresswoman Maxine Waters, talking about you need to get up in your Congress people's faces. This type of stuff, even the President of the United States, Joseph Biden, talking about a bullseye being on Donald Trump. I think it's now time for that to scale back a bit so we can have that civil discourse once again.
And it should have been scaled back from the start. I mean, the whole thing of extremists and then calling people that are in this country extremists when they're not extremists. We know what extremists looks like, and that's not what the people are doing.
Oh, no question. You can't hate 80 million of your fellow citizens who happen to vote for a major presidential candidate. People are not necessarily defined simply by who they vote for president, and I think it's a important reminder in these last few hours to have that once again here in our great country.
Exactly, and then we look at some of those numbers, Bobby. Think about it: 80 million, sure, but probably 150 million.
Oh, there's no question.
Right?
As we're looking back at 2020 and between now, and it seems that President Trump's popularity is increasing and ever growing because of the events of the last few weeks and the last few months.
That's right. I'm Matthew Alvarez. We're here with Bobby McNeely, and what we're going to do today, of course, is give you all of the live coverage. We have a number of interviews we'll be getting to. Of course, we're going to dive into how the RNC works and how the delegates are chosen, that kind of thing. And then, of course, we do want to thank our sponsors as well, the Birch Gold Group. Bobby, as we know, the BRICS nations, they're trying to devalue the U.S. dollar. But we have something as a backup plan, don't we?
Oh, we do. And you look at the last 50 years, this was part of the Nixon administration's goal of getting out of the gold standard, which, in my opinion, was a massive mistake. But the U.S. had the petrodollar to work and fight on the world stage. You now have the Saudi Arabians trading the yen with the Chinese. You have them trading with the Brazilians. So the dollar is no longer as strong as it once was. And with us printing money nonstop, especially during the Biden administration, the way inflation has risen, you need to protect yourself and your family. So Birch Gold is an excellent choice.
Exactly. All you have to do is text Trump to 989898. And on top of that, the printing of the money at the printing press, right? Basically, all that money going out to Ukraine as well. I mean, we're paying for all this stuff we shouldn't be paying for. Our dollar value is unfortunately going downward, but we have to have that backup plan. So text Trump to 989898. Well, there's something I texted you yesterday about, and it was from Taylor Budowich from the MAGA Inc., right?
Right.
And there was a quote that he shared on an email that I sent to Bobby, and Bobby said, quote back to me, "Love this," with an exclamation point. So I want to read this quote to you because this, in a nutshell, I think is the direction that we have to, as Americans, go forward. This is what he said. By the grace of God, President Trump survived a coward's bullet, and before leaving the stage, he roared, "Fight." So we shall. We will fight by mobilizing the most epic political movement in history. We will fight by prosecuting the case against the worst president in American history, Joe Biden. And we will fight by delivering President Trump an electoral landslide to provide him the opportunity to unite our divided country and make America great again.
It's such an exciting message. And today the focus is make America wealthy again. And I've enjoyed really diving into this platform, especially the last few hours with some communications changes, with some different points. But what's beautiful about the RNC platform is that this wasn't passed by the lobbyists. It wasn't passed by the consultants. It was passed by the MAGA agenda, which makes up the American people and common sense. It's really interesting to watch in the last, say, 2 decades as the Republican Party itself has become more of a populist movement and has invited people in, like the working class, like the middle class, who may have felt more pushed away in the past.
Exactly, and that you touched on a good point there, because today and this week is all about the everyday Americans. That's the big highlight of the week. President Trump didn't want to have it about elitists or anything like that. He wants it about the American people. So something that you don't usually see at a national convention is a number of everyday Americans stepping up to the stage. Usually it's, the politicians, which will have great MAGA candidates, and we'll have, Carrie Lake's going to be up there, Matt Gaetz, Donald Trump Jr., and a number of other, pop culture people as well. But everyday Americans, Bobby, will step up there. And that's what President Trump says. As you know, we've been at the speeches. He goes, when we win the White House.
Right, and that's so exciting to see that in a leader. I've had the privilege of maybe seeing about 25 Donald Trump speeches, whether that be MAGA rallies, whether that be Turning Point USA events, whether it's been policy speeches. And one of the key components that unites all of these speeches is the idea that he's not only saying we the people, but he'll actually bring people up on stage and talk about policies that are actually affecting their lives. One of the most amazing and remarkable things I got to saw is right before Rush Limbaugh passed away. And it was a Turning Point USA conference in Florida, and he introduced Donald Trump. And President Trump brought up several student leaders, and he actually said to the audience, several of you probably will be standing here one day. Amazing to see a leader looking to pass on his legacy while in the moment fighting for crucial issues for the American people.
Exactly. Rush Limbaugh, I love when he would say the lamestream media, right? Because that's exactly what it is. The lamestream fake news, of course, President Trump coining that phrase as well. And it's now, it has stuck. Like, it's going to be around for years to come. So we were also discussing the security around the Pfizer Forum. Anywhere from 16,000 to 20,000 people can fit into that arena. So the perimeters of security, obviously on the heels of what happened 2 days ago, and on top of that, obviously, there's already going to be a lot of security there. Let's talk a little bit about the perimeter situation there, Bobby, where we have to obviously keep it protected.
Oh, no question. And the local Milwaukee police have been really extraordinary, as they always are. And we want to thank our Secret Service. We want to thank our police officers, because anyone willing to put themselves in the line of fire to protect their fellow citizens, they're really just extraordinary people. But there are certain security checkpoints that are built around this stadium, roughly by several yards, and they call it steel walls, steel gates, so that they're making sure they have to protect the delegates as well. And it was beautiful to see. I've actually been keeping in touch with my home state delegation of Georgia, and they enjoyed a party last night of red, white, and brew. So
very nice.
So it's good to see that, and I even saw some pictures of former Governor Walker of Wisconsin, which I'm sure the Wisconsin delegation is having a wonderful time hosting this, and his beautiful family. They seem to be enjoying that same party. So the delegates seem to really be enjoying it thus far and feeling safe, and thanking law enforcement involved.
And also the delegates, of course, representing the voters of each state. So in Wisconsin, there are around 30 delegates that are going to be there for the state of Wisconsin. There needs to be 1,215 actual ballot votes, in order for him to be the official nominee. He's gone way past that, upwards in the 2,000 number, Bobby. So
no question.
It's going to be great to hear when they say, the state of Iowa selects, Donald J. Trump, right?
Well, what a fun moment for a delegate who, and sometimes it tends to be a high-ranking government official, a state official who might make that call, and it might land on that state just based on alphabetical order. We've seen it change over the years, but sometimes that lucky individual gets to say that one moment, it makes it official. But former ambassador and Governor Nikki Haley also has asked to relinquish her committed delegates over to former President Donald Trump for his nomination. So that was somewhat exciting to see that unity message coming together as they had somewhat of a tough campaign. And even though she was way behind in the polls, had a hard-fought battle, she seems to be uniting behind that MAGA platform as well that unites all kinds of Republicans. Something very different than the message you're hearing from mainstream media.
And also when each state says Donald J. Trump,